Hi, my name is Allie Fleckenstein. I'm a student at Ball State University taking the course Basics to Secondary Education. And as a pre-service teacher, it is important to me to read and understand what is going on in education in America and understand the world and how it is affecting our education. So this book, The Global Achievement Gap by Tony Wagner, was important as it outlined why even our best schools don't teach what students need to survive in our global economy and 21st century democracy and what we can do about it. Tony Wagner, as an expert in residence at Harvard University's Innovation Lab, and he's also worked as a teacher in high school, universities, and a K-8 principal, shows the importance of how we educate future generations. Through this quote, the formulation of the problem is often more essential than the solution by Albert Einstein, by explaining how the problem is stemming from our education system, and by fixing that, the solution will then therefore follow. This video here from a TEDx talk he did in 2012 outlines the problem.
And let's have a contest. Why don't you recite the 50 state capitals from memory while I Google them? Let's see who's quicker. Knowledge is a commodity. The world no longer cares whether or not you're smarter than a fifth grader or how well you do a trivial pursuit. What the world cares about is not what you know, but what you can do with what you know. And that is a completely different education problem.
And so to go into more detail of this and into more of the important points of his book, I start with the 7 survival skills he outlines in his book that we need to be teaching our students. After collaborating with teachers, parents, employers, and more of what employees want from their students, he came on these skills, starting with critical thinking, which is in students being able to ask the right questions. Next, collaboration, as students should be able to collaborate across networks and lead by influence. Next, agility, as they should be able to adapt with their environments as their roles and jobs are going to be changing, along with technology and skills that they will need will always be changing. Next, they should have initiative, as in they can be self-directed and not just told what to do within their jobs. Students should also be effective in communication, written or oral, as they should be concise and clear. They should be able to access and analyze information in this world of overloading information, as Wagner just exemplified in his video, within just being able to find this answer on Google, differing from what we've been taught into memorizing things all through our education, because we are no longer in a world where we need to know everything, but in a world where we need to know how to use information. Lastly, they should have curious and imaginative minds so that they can ask these effective questions by thinking outside of the box. Altogether, this breeds innovation. But these skills are not enough because of the culture we live in. In the economy we live in, where just going to college is not enough, due to many college graduates being either unemployed or underemployed, and 1/3 of them living in their parents' home. It can start with fixing the number one problem, as in we celebrate individual achievement, when this teamwork is what breeds efficiency. Next, instead of specialization, as we see in schooling, with classes separated from science, math, history, these Carnegie units way of teaching, interdisciplinary teaching is what really shows the real world through education. Next, we should not be adverse to making mistakes, because even as discussed in our class, these taking risks is what is important to growth, and this trial and error stems self-confidence. Next, students should create with projects and not just consume information and take it in and out the other end. If they are hands-on, they will truly be able to produce more for our world. And next, our schools should not rely on extrinsic motivation, such as grade values, just getting an A for doing the bare minimum. If they truly are engaged in their learning and they're truly invested and interested in their education, then they will be more successful. Inner drive is more important than materialistic or numerical concerns. Lastly, and most importantly, is play, passion, purpose. Play as in engaging the students' curiosity, passion as in encouraging students to find what they love, even if it's intellectual or artistic, through projects, in order to evolve into a deeper sense of purpose. And all of these ideas, as I outlined, they can be used as glossary terms using Carnegie units, intrinsic, interdisciplinary, and it gives more of what us as educators, what this looks like. This looks like, as educators, us taking all of this within wanting to make a difference ourselves and being innovators ourselves, and allowing for these changes with open arms as we also take risks and engage with the 3 Ps with our students, and understanding the changing needs it takes to be successful citizens, employees, and continuing the learning process. I agree with Wagner's points on our education is always changing, and what our students need to know is changing, and having this understanding is important, especially after reading Wagner's examples throughout his book of these skills being used, and these skills, the outcomes of them, and him interviewing innovators and where their success came from, and them attributing it to many of these skills and to many of these solutions to cultural problems, and how it has affected their mindsets. This book has reminded me of the Ken Robinson talk we listened to in class, where he also discusses the importance of critical thinking or divergent thinking and creativity, as the assembly line of students is no longer the way of teaching all students the same way, and the No Child Left Behind Act, where we are assessing students by standardized testing, because it is no longer just standards that our students need. It is these skills to break those standards and to truly grow away from them. So in the end, I do agree. And also, here are my references from the book, the video, and about Tony Wagner.